morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer?
And this morning, we're going to talk about competition.
Yes, there's always competition, right?
Absolutely. And really, we're not going to talk about the obvious competitors. You know, the company up the street that does exactly what you do, and you see them as competition. But there are other, and those may or may not even be your competitors, even if you think they are.
Correct.
Part of it is maybe they do things so differently that a customer that likes them won't like you, and vice versa.
There's lots of little niches in any particular business, and a lot of people do varying things. I think it's really hard to find someone that does exactly what you do and how you do it. I'm always thinking my only competitor is myself.
Mm. Well, that's probably your number one competitor. I think also companies miss sometimes the fact that before you came along with this wonderful, innovative product and new idea, your customers had that problem and they were solving it in different ways. For example, a small business owner might go to a marketing company, or they might go to a business coach to help them solve the problem. So I think you need to expand who you look at. And I think you said you had some great examples of that, like online with search.
Yeah. So, we had a client here recently where, they gave us a list of who they think their competitors are. And that might very well be who they feel like they compete with. And most of them were kind of local competitors. But when we went and looked at the actual search results, and who they actually compete with on their main keywords, it was actually national companies.
Wow.
And the thought process was there, well, these people have huge, large budgets. We're probably not going to be able to compete on a national level SEO wise. Google has chosen that they're coming up. But what we can compete on is a local search, which would put you side by side with those other competitors.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just a variation of kind of breaking that down and being like, okay, who's your real competitor?
Absolutely. And I think you need to look at not what you do and what they do as much as what's the problem that you're solving, and really focus on that. One of my favorite examples, and this is so different from anything I'm doing now, but when I worked for Carrier, we sold equipment to a developer in Arizona. We had 500 homes being built. They were all going to have Carrier units. So who were we competing with? At that point, we signed the contract, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we wanted, we were putting in baseline units, and what we wanted was people to upgrade to the high efficiency systems, to put in zoning. And so who we were competing with was Delta Faucet, Pella Windows, because people only had so much money for upgrades. And so if we kept talking about just the equipment and not the efficiency and the cost savings that you wouldn't get, or you would get more than just upgrading the windows that would eventually allow you to save money and buy those other things. If we didn't switch our message to who we were really competing with, we were never going to sell the extra piece. And that was really our goal.
Well, and in that, like competing with national and local, and you have to think about how are you actually different, because they're like you're just saying, there's a lot of things that are going to be the same. And I know it's a really tough question because, I'll hear things like, well, we've got great customer service. We've got great reviews. And I'm like, so does everybody else. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to, but that's not really a differentiator. So it's a harder question than you think to actually answer of how you are different, and defining that into words, into your marketing messaging that is going to actually hit with somebody and be like, oh, that is the difference.
One of the things that I always used to ask contractors, like when I would do a room of contractors, because I'm like, so you guys have all got good quality, right? How many of you have got a competitor that's out there saying, I have crappy quality? Which one of your competitors says, I charge too much money for my services? Okay. And so when you think about it that way, so then what it boils down to is, okay, you want to compete on quality. How do you define quality? What is it that makes your service better? You give great customer service. When I ran RoundPeg, one of the things we always said that we knew was defensible, we answer the phone on the first ring. That was our definition of quality. And that was something we did that I can honestly tell you nobody else did.
There you go.
And so we leveraged what was part of our normal operation in our messaging because we knew that made it different. So if you want to compete on quality, think about what it is. What are those little things? And that becomes the core of your message.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the core of our message is not selling packages, that everybody has an individualized plan. And if people are just selling you a package, then they're just trying to sell you something and get past the door. Lots of people are doing strategy, but are they so willing that they will only do a strategy first before they even do anything with you? If they'll just take your money and sell you, something that you said you wanted, then they're just trying to sell you. So
yeah, it's like going to a doctor and telling him you saw an ad on television and you want this drug and you want him to write the prescription. And you're like, yeah, but you're not really a good candidate. No, I want the drug. Oh, well, I mean, because that's what the drug companies want.
Correct. That's how they're doing their marketing. So if that doctor just says okay and just writes the script, then I would have to question that, wait, you have the doctor degree. You should be questioning me or not. Or you should be saying, okay, yeah, this is why I think that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah. So, as you're thinking about your competitors, I really want people to think about it in 3 tiers, kind of group them 3 ways. First, the people that look just like you, the ones that you think do what you do, put them in one bucket. Then the people that solve the problem differently. And then that third group that's kind of like the carrier example where Pella Windows, people who really don't even solve the same problem, but they're competing for dollars. And then you really need a strategy for each of those segments. You need to figure out, where are you really losing sales? Are you losing it to people who look like you? Okay. Are you losing to people who don't look like you, but who solve the problem? Or the example is, are you losing it to the owner's daughter?
Yeah, you're not going to compete with that one.
And whether you're selling bookkeeping services or marketing or any kind of business support, there's always somebody inside that can do some of it, right?
Yes. I mean, we definitely deal with that. I mean,
and I think that those 3 buckets are going to affect how you buy advertising and how you think about your content.
Yep, absolutely. So different ways to look at your competition.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to end here. We'll be back next week with another conversation.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye now.